Hello everyone, this is Akank Suman here. Now we are going to start the next topic, that is Kennedy's theorem. In the previous lectures, we already discussed about the instantaneous center method. How can we denote the instantaneous center on the mechanisms? We have considered an example of 4-bar chain. Okay, in that example, we have drawn all the possible instantaneous centers. Okay, so basically, numerical questions is generally going to be asked in the examinations from these topics. So Kennedy's theorem tells about how instantaneous center is useful for finding out the angular velocity. We will find the angular velocity using the instantaneous center method. So Kennedy's theorem says for the relative motions between the number of links in the mechanisms. See, it is not saying that there will be only 4 number of links. Okay, there may be any number of links. Okay, so Kennedy's theorem says for the relative motions between the number of links in the mechanisms, any 3 links. Okay, out of the number of links, any 3 links, their 3 instantaneous center must lie in a straight line. This line you must remember, because here they will ask you the questions based on this statement. Okay, so you must have to remember that this is the straight line. Okay, their 3 instantaneous center must line is, they can ask you the instantaneous center must line up a curve, in a parabola, in a circle, in a straight line. So that would be the straight line, you must remember from exam point of view. So basically Kennedy's theorem says for the relative motions between the number of links in a mechanisms, any 3 links, their 3 instantaneous center must lie in a straight line. I will show you how this theorem is valid. Now I am going to draw a diagram so it would be easy to understand for you. For example, we are going to discuss the statement of Kennedy's theorem graphically. Okay, now this is a link. Okay, now this is a link and this is fixed link. Okay, this is first. How many links are there? Only 3 links are there. If I ask you to find out the number of instantaneous center, you must have to calculate the number of instantaneous center. Okay, so how many number of instantaneous center? If there are 3 number of links, so we can calculate the number of instantaneous center by using the formula, that is L minus 1 by 2. Okay, so that would be 3 multiply 3 minus 1 by 2, that is 3. So there are 3 instantaneous center in the mechanisms when there are 3 number of links. I am considering this link as a fixed link. So that is first, that is second, and that is third. Okay, now the instantaneous center, this is the turning pair because it is pin joint, and this is turning pair, this is turning pair, and we can denote is 1 3. So that would be I13. I13 means the instantaneous center of relative motions between link 1 and the link 3, and this is the instantaneous center for the relative motions between link 1 and the link 2. This is instantaneous center of rotation of relative motions between the link 2 and the link 3. Now you can see here that I23 can be assumed on the link 3 and it can be assumed on the link 2. Okay, are you getting my point? This would be considered, this can be considered on the link 3, this can be considered on the link 2 because this is at the intersection of both the links. Now if I say the link 3 is going to be rotated into clockwise direction. Okay, if this is in clockwise direction, what would be the direction of linear velocity for the link 3? That would be in like that, because it would be in perpendicular to that link. Okay, so this is V3. Now if I'm going to consider link 2, what would be the velocity for the link 2? That would be in that direction. Okay, because this would be perpendicular to link 2. This is V2. Now tell me, is it possible that at one point there are 2 direction of velocities? Is it possible? No, at one point there is only one direction of one velocity direction only. There can only be one direction, because but here you can see that at one point, that is I23, there are 2 direction of velocities. That is not possible. Okay, so what would happen? See here. Now, if I'm going to say this link can be assumed like that, if it would be like that, the velocity would be in that direction, and that in that direction, if I make short link, now it would be in that direction and in that direction. So basically, at last point, what we will get, at last point we will get this, sorry, this would be perpendicular to this link and this link. So finally, when you reach at this line, you will get the direction of velocity in the perpendicular direction only. Okay, so that would be I23. Are you getting my point? Here you can see, when you reach at that point, you will get only one direction of velocity. So this is what Kennedy's theorem says for the relative motions between the number of links. Since in the mechanisms of three link, is there any relative motions possible? No, because it is a frame. When you are finding out the degree of freedom of this link, you will get the, see, I'm going to find out the degree of freedom. It would be, you will be able to understand what I'm going to say. There are three links, -1, -2 multiply 3 minus 0, because there are no higher pair. We are going to use the degree of freedom formula, that is also known as the Pushback equations. Okay. So when you finally finding out this, you will get the 0 degree of freedom. 0 degree of freedom means there is no relative motions between the number of links. This is basically a frame. Okay. So that is why Kennedy's theorem says for the relative motions between the number of links in a mechanism, three instantaneous center must lie in a straight line. Here you can see three instantaneous center are not lying in a straight line. Okay, but when I am going to consider in a straight line, there is a, that would be like that. Okay, now there is the possibility of the link to be in motion, because only one direction motion is one direction, velocity is there in the downward direction, but every point here there are two direction velocity, that is not possible at a point. Okay, so that is what Kennedy's theorem says. And already we have discussed the 4-bar chain mechanisms, in which I already told you about the how you draw the instantaneous center here, where you can see that the instantaneous center like was like that, and that is I13, sorry, and that is I23, and that was I34. And we already discussed this example in the last video. Here you can also see that three instantaneous center must lie in a straight line. There are three instantaneous center must lie in a straight line. Okay, here you can, when you extend this line, you will get the another instantaneous center, that would be I24. Here you can also see that three instantaneous center must lie in a straight line. Here you can also see three instantaneous center must lie in a straight line. That means Kennedy's theorem says for the relative motions between the number of links in the mechanism, three instantaneous center must lie in a straight line. In that case, only relative motion is possible. If the three instantaneous center are not lying in a straight line, there is no relative motion possible. Okay, so we have possible the relative motions. In order to finding out the direction of the velocity, we have get it. Okay, we have seen here that in that case velocity will be in one direction only. Okay, in any other cases velocity at a point in the two directions, that is not possible. So that is what the Kennedy's theorem says. Now we are going to discuss the theorem of angular velocity. Basically the theory of angular velocity, that means that you are going to finding out the angular velocity using the instantaneous center method. Okay, now we will discuss it. I already told you, if I consider the instantaneous center IMN, this would be treated on the link M, and this can be treated on the link N. I showed you in the last diagram. So I'm going to write here that it can be treated on link M and it can be treated on link n. If IMN can be treated on the link m, if it can be treated on the link n, now if I want to finding out the velocity of instantaneous center IMN, so it can be V is equal to omega r. We all know that linear velocity is equal to omega r. Okay, that is a general formula you must remember. Okay, so I can write here VIMN is equal to, now first I am going to treat IMN on the link m. So how can you find out the velocity? So that would be omega m I1m IMN. Are you getting my point? This is the distance between I1m and IMN. I will explain you again with an example so it would be easy to understand to you. Okay, but this is the general relation that I am going to write here. If you can treat IMN on the link n, it can be written as omega n I1n IMN. Now if I want to show you with an example, see here, if there is a 4 bar chain, that would be I12. If this is link 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, that would be I12, that would be I23, and that would be I34, and that would be I14. Now how can I find out the I13? Like that. This is a roughly diagram, you must understand what I'm going to show you. That is I13. Okay, now see here, there are link 3 and the link 2. If I have angular velocity of the link 2, that is omega 2, and the angular velocity of the link 3, that is omega 3, so I can write here Pi23, that means velocity at that point, that's equal to omega 2 I12 I23, and that is also equal to, because I am going to treat I23 on the link 2, then on the link 3, it can be treated on both the links, so that is why I am going to write here in the form of omega 2 and in the form of omega 3, that is I13 I23. Okay, are you getting my point? So using this relation you can finding out the angular velocity of the link, one link. At the in the input you can they can give you the omega 2 velocity. Okay, you have to find out the omega 3 velocity, so the questions can be possible in every manner, so you just have to remember the relations, how can we calculate the omega 2 and omega 3. Are you getting my point? So this is basically the examples for understanding purpose, but this is a general relation, you must remember this. Okay, this is the general relation, you must have to remember. This would be very useful for numerical questions basically that we are going to solve in the next lectures. This relations is going to be useful, very important relation that you'll get. Are you getting my point? Now I'm going to say about the direction. What would be the direction if they ask, if in the examinations, if they ask you to find out the relative velocity, relative angular velocity of the link 2 and the link 3, so how can you calculate? That is omega 2 3, that would be equal to omega 2 minus omega 3. Okay, like that you can write the relation for the relative motions between omega 2 relative motions between link 2 and link 3. So if I'm talking about the direction, so I'm going to write here that if I1m and instantaneous center I1n lie at the same side, same side means what? Same side of I23, you have to consider direction same. It would be it would be easy to understand when you considering an example. When we solve the example, it would be easy to understand what I'm going to say. Now let us understand. I'm saying that if I1m, see here in this diagram, I'm saying that if I13 and I12 lie at the same side of I23, the direction of angular velocity of link 2 and the link 3 would be same. If it is in the clockwise, it would also be in the clockwise. But the condition is what? If I13 and I12 lie at the same side. But here in this diagram, I13 and I12 lying on the opposite side of I23. That means if omega 2 will be in the clockwise direction, omega 3 will be in anti-clockwise direction. Okay, the direction would be opposite. If they are in the opposite direction of I23, the direction of angular velocity of both the links would be in opposite direction. So that is the statement you must remember. Okay, are you getting my point? We are discussing the topic from the numerical point of view because the number of questions going to be asked from this topic. Okay, you must have to remember, because the direction is also important. Okay, we will do some questions on the both the relations on this and this, so it would be easy to understand how can we determine the angular velocity and how can we considering the directions of the angular velocity of the links. So I hope you will understand the topic of Kennedy's theorem and the angular velocity theorem. Okay, now we will do some questions on the angular velocity theorems, so it would be easy to understand. If you are preparing for the engineering service conventional questions, in the conventional exams, generally the question is going to be asked from the angular velocity theorem, because it is a little bit tough, and you have to draw the instantaneous center, then you have to calculate the angular velocity, and then you have to considering the sign. So basically it becomes a little bit tough, because the chances of making error is high in that topic. So but basically this is the important topic from conventional point of view. In the gate examinations, they generally ask you to find out the angular velocity. They don't go in deep.